Greetings everybody, Richard Fulmer here and welcome to a 2025 video. Yes, we're into the new year. Hope everybody's had a good time, had good parties, recovered. All the hangovers are done. And yeah, into a new year. So what I normally do this time of the year is look back. So we're going to have a look back at some of the albums that turned 50 this year that were released in 1975. And I have to say, there were some incredible releases that year. And obviously in the next couple of videos we're going to check out, obviously not all of them, but as many as I can fit in, the more notable ones and perhaps not so notable. So let's get stuck in. First one, 1975, the follow-up to their very successful debut, just called Bad Company. Bad Company, Straight Shooter, there we go, that's their second album. And for me, this one as well as the first one are the two essentials of the Paul Rodgers era. Really good stuff on here. Good classic hard rock. Just some of the big tracks on here. Good Loving Gone Bad with some excellent guitar work from Mick Rolfs. Good rocker to start things off. Of course, you've got Paul Rodgers on vocals and Simon Kirke on drums and Boz Burrell on bass. Feel Like Making Love, that was another big hit from the album. Weep No More, Shooting Star. Quite a sad song really, all about a guy who becomes a rock star and then of course he falls off the wagon, and very much of the times of the 70s, I guess. Deal with a Preacher, Wildfire Woman, Anna, and Call on Me. Excellent album. This is the digitally remastered version that I bought, although I have to say, having listened to this, it doesn't sound remastered to me. I think that somebody was pulling the wool over my eyes with this one, but anyway. To see if there's anything I can show you inside. No, there is not. That's just the inside, the people who are in the band and the names of the tracks. Recorded on Ronnie Lane's mobile at Clearwell Castle. I think Led Zeppelin also, of course this would be on Led Zeppelin's, it says here, special thanks to Peter Grant from Led Zeppelin. Of course this was on the Swan Song label, which was the new label that was formed by the guys in Led Zeppelin. There, I don't know if you can see that. That's the Swan Song label down there. Anyway, there we go. Bad Company, Straight Shooter. A great album to have in your collection. Speaking of Led Zeppelin, one of their best albums for me, and the one, if you want to have a Led Zeppelin album that shows you exactly what they could do, all that they could do. I mean, on this album you had blues, you had classic rock, you had country rock, you had even touches of reggae, you had all sorts, prog stuff on here. Of course, I'm waffling on about Led Zeppelin's Physical Graffiti with that iconic cover. Of course, it looks so much better on the vinyl. Comes out like that, and there's all those different funny pictures and some of the band as well. And you take that out, it says Physical Graffiti. Yeah, back in the day when album covers are really interesting and the guys made an effort, whereas today I think most of them are pretty boring. Anyway, that's just my personal take on things. So that's my vinyl copy. This is a double album. And sometimes with double albums, you know, that runs out of steam about halfway through. Not with this. This really grabs your attention from the first track to the last. And I've also got the remastered, came out a few years back. Remastered CD version, which has got some bonus stuff. All of the ones that were re-released had bonus features. Just want to mention some of the big tracks on here. Custard Pie, excellent vocals as well from Robert Plant on that one. Driving Rocker, In My Time of Dying, very moody, slow track with lots of atmospheric stuff from John Paul Jones on the keyboards. The Rover, Houses of the Holy, Trampled Underfoot, good rocker that one as well. And then the classic Kashmir, epic track, almost like Led Zeppelin's. You know, not Stairway to Heaven, that was them as well. I'm trying to think of Child in Time, that kind of thing. That was that. And then you've got Night Flight, In the Light, which has also got some great keyboard work. I must say, John Paul Jones on this album really comes to the fore. Down by the Seaside, which is almost like a sing-along kind of track. They could do anything. 10 Years Gone, Bron-Y-Aur, Boogie with Stu. The Stu being Ian Stewart, I think, from the Rolling Stones, the keyboardist, sort of a homage to him. Black Country Woman and Sick Again, which is quite a heavy track. And so this is all the, that's the discs. And there's the bonus disc. There's another 2 discs. So what do we have in here? Let's see, disc 3 There's a track called Brandy and Coke, which should be known to most South Africans. In brackets, Trampled Underfoot. Sick Again, early version of that. This is on the bonus disc, by the way. In My Time of Dying, Initial Rough Mix, Houses of the Holy Rough Mix. So there's all kinds of different versions on here, which is cool if you're a collector like I am. And there's a great shot of the band in full flight in 1975. Of course, we're talking about all these albums from 1975. There's some more live shots. And there's John Bonham in his, I think that was Clockwork Orange movie that gave him that inspiration for the boiler suit and the bowler hat. And there's John Paul Jones, and the one and only Jimmy Page, and Bob Plant over there. There we go, some great shots. So that's Led Zeppelin. How's that one? There we go. Excellent stuff. One of my favorite bands of all time. One of my top two. There we go. So that's Led Zeppelin and Physical Graffiti. And yeah, like I said, if you want a good overview of what they were capable of, this is definitely one to check out. Carrying on with the classics and the heavies, and I spoke about being one of my favorite bands, top two. This is the other one in the top two. This is Black Sabbath and their 75 album Sabotage, which is a very angry album. They were having a lot of issues with lawyers and money that was getting shafted from them and all sorts of other business. And you could hear it in the music. This is an angry album. The lyrics are brilliant from Geezer Butler, who wrote most of their lyrics. Ozzy's voice, I don't think ever sounded as strong as it did on here, with the exception of maybe Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. I mean, he was hitting notes on here that I defy him to hit today. In fact, I know he can't. So, what are the tracks? Hole in the Sky, which starts off with that, I think it's Bill Ward in the studio, and you can just about hear it. He says, "Attack!" And they launch into the track. Don't Start Too Late, and then my favorite on here, which became a Stone Cold classic, brilliant riff from Tony Iommi, Symptom of the Universe. Megalomania, Thrill of It All, Super Tsar, which was kind of a weird sort of like a choir singing in the background. I think they actually got a choir for this. Am I Going Insane? And The Writ. The Writ being a piece of paper you're given when you get served to go to court. There they are wearing terrible clothes. I think Bill Ward's wearing his wife's tights because he forgot his jeans or something. Not the best cover in the world. And there's the back where they're all facing the other way. Sabotage. And I think this is the remastered one, so there's probably some extra live shots. There we go. Tony Iommi in the middle with his long sort of sleeves, very much a 70s thing. Ozzy with his tassels. Bill Ward at the back there with his big drum kit, which used to have carnations on them for some reason. And there's just early shots of them in the studio, and that's the rough mixes. That tells you all about the album. I think as far as early Sabbath goes, or the Ozzy era, this is my number 2. Volume 4 has always been my favorite, followed up by Sabotage. Brutal album, in your face, you gotta play this loud. Classic Sabbath. And then the final one we're going to look at in our first 4 of Birthday Boys turning 50 is Deep Purple's Come Taste the Band, which I think has to be seen as a separate entity in the Deep Purple catalogue. It's very different to what they did prior to this. They had Tommy Bolin on guitar, who'd been with Billy Cobham on his album, and Alphonse Mouzon, and he was with the James Gang, and they grabbed him for this. Sadly, this would be the only studio album that he appears on. Drugs and whatever caught up with him, and he passed away a year or two after this album was released. Probably 76, I think he passed away. So yeah, a couple of tours, and he was done and dusted, sadly. This is also a remastered 2 CD set, 35th anniversary, so there's a whole bunch of bonus stuff on here. So you have the original album remastered, and then you have a Kevin Shirley, our very own 2010 remixed. And this is a funk album. This is very much a Glenn Hughes and Tommy Bolin album. You can hear it in the style of playing, or in the style of rock, I should say. Who also was in the band? Well, you had David Coverdale, you had Ian Pace, of course, you had John Lord, Glenn Hughes, and Tommy Bolin. So this was the 1, 2, 3, Mark 4 lineup. At the moment, I think it's Mark 100. I've lost count. But yeah, I often reach for this. It's such a great album, and you know, it gets overlooked and it's underrated as far as I'm concerned, in my very humble opinion. Anyway, the tracks. Coming Home, with some great vocals from David Coverdale. He was on song with this album. Lady Luck, my favorite, Getting Tighter, which is, as the song implies, a really tight track. Very funky, lots of groove. Great drumming on this album from Ian Pace. And it was a little different to what he'd done prior. And he was having all sorts of little fills and things on the drum kit. And some great bass work. Very different to Roger Glover from Glenn Hughes. Dealer, I Need Love. Drifter, Love Child, with a great guitar intro. This Time Around, which is some nice piano work from John Lord. And You Keep On Moving, which is that slow burning track which starts off with just a bass line. And then Glenn Hughes, I think, comes in. And him and David Coverdale really complement each other really well on this album, as they did on prior. And then there's a bonus track, You Keep On Moving, a single version. Then on the bonus disc, you basically got the whole album again with 2 bonus tracks. Same in LA and Bolan Pace Jam. So that's just them messing around in the studio. Really great album. Like I said, it's underrated, I think. There we go. There they're all in the glass. Come Taste the Band. Good play on words. And then inside, there we go. It's Tommy Bolan, the late Tommy Bolan. Glenn Hughes, Ian Pace, the late John Lord. And there's David Coverdale, a very young David Coverdale. He doesn't look like that anymore. There he is again with John Lord in the background. Gives you the whole lowdown of the album, the recording, the touring. There they are again, very 70s shot that. Hair just grew straight down. There was no perms or anything then. And there's Tommy Bolan in a kimono kind of outfit. I know they did a big Japanese tour around this time and they went down pretty well. The Japanese love their rock and roll. There's another shot of the band. And there we go. So that's the last one for this time around. Deep Purple's Come Taste the Band. So next time we'll grab another 4 from 1975. See what we come up with. Thanks for watching, guys. Have yourselves a great new year, if I haven't said it already. If you're traveling anywhere, please get home in one piece. Drive safely. And yeah, I'll catch you again soon. If you haven't done so yet, helps the channel if you give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe. That'll be great. Great to have you on board. Hopefully this year I should hit the 200 mark soon of my my videos, and might have something special lined up for that. Take it easy, and I'll catch you soon. Bye bye.